Hi, everyone. Welcome to our presentation, Supporting Student Engagement and Active Participation During Times of Change in Higher Education. We are excited to be part of this conference. So, I am Dr. Jill Tessie. I work for Buena Vista University, and I'm the Division Chair over Literacy, Early Childhood, and TESOL, as well as teaching early childhood and literacy courses. Dr. Losley Hass and Dr. Michelle Metzger both also contributed to this conversation with the content. We are very excited to share our experiences. Dr. Haas and I are both literacy focused, and Michelle Metzger is math focused. So we're just really excited to share some of the things that we did, the ways that we were able to really embrace technology and help students, during these really challenging and different ways of life that we've been experiencing. So, as I said, we all are teaching with Buena Vista University during the pandemic. And, we just really understood that there was a lot of different needs that our students had. So, we wanted to make sure that we were focusing on supporting the students' content knowledge and helping them understand the complex, concepts in order to be good teachers, but knowing that the delivery has changed. So a lot of times, students have to go into quarantine. So then they're joining by Zoom. We have mixed classrooms. We have the high flex where some are face to face and some are on Zoom. And then we have classrooms that are pure Zoom. Regardless of the delivery mode, we knew that it was really important that we still focused on ways to keep the students engaged and to help them really understand the differences between, being just sitting on Zoom, with your screen off and just listening versus being active even in that modality. So the topics that we're going to cover in this presentation, we're going to talk a bit about master courses, obviously student engagement and active participation, and then embracing technology. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with what we call master courses. These are beyond, they're more than just a syllabus that we hand to our instructors. So to start off with, we want to make sure that regardless of where the students are getting their instruction, if they're getting it from a full-time faculty member, a part-time faculty member, or an adjunct instructor, if they are getting this delivered in our main campus in Storm Lake, or if they're getting the content delivered in one of our sites, that the content is still the same. And in order to do this with our courses, we came up with the master course process. To start with, we have to determine, okay, which faculty member is approved to teach these courses and has the content knowledge to approve or to develop and teach these courses. The course development is obviously the second, and this is really important because during the master course development, we are coming up with determining the textbooks, all of the assignments, all of the discussion posts, the in class activities, and setting up our version of this online platform where our learning management system that we use is Canvas. And we are letting it be developed so that each term we can copy this template over, and every instructor has the same assignments, the same textbook, the same in-class activities for the students. This is really helpful because then when we have 4 sections running of a certain literacy or a certain math course, we know that the students will all come out with the same outcomes. So after the course has been developed, then it goes to the peer review stage. This we ask, our other full-time faculty members, our part-time faculty members to review the course. Is there additional information that needs to be added? Are there any like areas of clarification? And then after the peer review process, we are ready to roll the course out. Generally, the instructor who develops the course, that faculty member, then now takes on the role of the lead instructor. This is really helpful because the lead instructor is familiar with the course, but they meet with all of the instructors before the term starts, and then it continues to engage with a discussion throughout the term. Like, do you have resources? We have people, our adjunct instructors that are still in the classroom, and so they have access to different resources and research. So they sometimes have things that we can add to the course that are really helpful for our students. The process, is something that we have found to have many benefits because it gives us an opportunity to collaborate. Everybody that's teaching the course, we have the same goals, the same expectations, so we can brainstorm, we can collaborate together. Like, what were our students struggling with, on this assignment? Do we need to change the wording? Something as simple as that, we could have a discussion about rather than being siloed in an island all yourself. We also can ensure that there's consistency and an equitable experience for all of our students. It doesn't matter where you take the course, if you're taking it on our main campus or if you're taking it at one of the sites. The courses have been developed. You have the same activities, you have the same expectations. The resources are all the same. And we found that that's something that's really important to have those same resources. Obviously, with anything, then we do have challenges. So it takes quite a bit of time as you are developing that master course the first time. Obviously, the maintaining it is not a super heavy lift because you can make small changes as you go, so the course can naturally, continue to evolve and stay current. But it takes a great deal of time, even just, getting your learning segments set up, getting your essential questions and your objectives for each of the learning segments in the 8 modules. And we know, everybody's just really busy. So while it is wonderful to have the opportunity for collaboration, sometimes it's a challenge to find time to do that. As I said, we have not just our full time faculty doing this, we have our part time. Most of those are still working in the K 12 system. And then we have adjuncts also, many of them are working in the education field where they have, their day jobs still. So trying to find time for us to all collaborate. So that's a little bit about our master courses. So they have been really helpful to ensure that we are, creating experiences for students that are engaging, but also already have that, participation component embedded in there. So when we think about, also things that are important, not just during our this time of the pandemic, but we know that student engagement is really, important and something we need to focus on. And as the learning environments change, the need for active engagement for this participation with their students is more important than ever because we know that Zoom fatigue is a real thing. We know that they're juggling a lot of social emotional challenges as well. They're trying to figure out how to navigate their college experience, with during a global pandemic. They're still worried about the safety of their family themselves as we deal with COVID. So we have to go as educators, push a little bit more in order to ensure that we can engage these students. Um, so it's just a necessary component, regardless if you're in a physical classroom where you can get up and move, or if you're in an online environment where you use like the breakout rooms a little bit more effectively. And, I've included in here this quote, as the time and effort students devote to activities, they're really linked to the outcome of colleges and what we want, the students to do and how we want them to participate. So, in here, in this presentation, I'm now going to talk a little bit about using games for student engagement. I was in a second grade teacher for 12 years, so I obviously know the importance of games with the younger learners, but this is something that is really beneficial and has a great impact even at the college setting because it continuously provides that engagement with the social emotional part. The physical, you can bring in like moving around. Even if you're on Zoom, you can do a scavenger hunt, find something around your house that is goes along with the class that we're talking about, the topic, so they can get up and they can still move. So we do know the importance of these different components, and just bringing those digital games can also be helpful because we're allowing, we're embracing how many people enjoy the digital game component and bringing it into our classroom to really honor their interests. Um, so, digital games offer a promise and untapped opportunity to leverage students' engagement and help transform learning in America. So, we can really latch on to these digital games and find ways to make them educational, to tie them or find, digital educational games. And then you can really bring that in to the classroom. Um, so if we continue on, games that we see on TV, Jeopardy, Family Feud, Survivor, these are games that easily can be adapted and you can use them as formative or summative assessment, or even if you just are doing more of that classroom, that team building for participation. Um, and then the final bullet is really important because it talks about how collaboration in higher ed is important because it helps the students understand that you can bring these components into your workplace. So we have some examples of some tactile games that we've created in our higher education classroom. We've given the students the task to come up with a learning game and it's worked really well. So, including the math, we have games that we can help our students that want to be educators know, okay, these are some really good games that you can use in your future classroom to help with, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. But we have to have our students in higher ed practice these games, become familiar with these games and utilizing them in their during their college experience so they feel more likely and empowered to use games. So here's some, examples that can easily be brought into your math classroom. Again, focusing on ways where we're always constantly thinking about, active engagement. Technology is a big one. So it has the potential to accelerate, amplify, and expand the impact of powerful principles of learning, which is what we're all focusing on in higher ed. So we know the importance of bringing technology into the classroom. Well, we can do this by using breakout rooms with all of our learners and helping them understand that in literacy, discussions are huge. Having the ability to listen and talk to your group members is really important and a skill that's hard for many. So the breakout rooms still provide the opportunity for that active engagement, for those meaningful discussions. Kahoot is something that can be used in the classroom as both as practice and review. We have really increased the amount of time we've asked the students to video record themselves teaching lessons. This allows us to, provide the students with another opportunity to utilize technology instead of missing out on key opportunities of teaching students due to the, restraints. We have a lot of restrictions about who's being allowed to go into schools here so they can, Zoom with a student and record. And then something as simple as having the students create a PowerPoint presentation, but making it a group one. So you're doing it all virtually. Everybody's getting on, can log on, they can work together at the same time. And this can really help our students because they can see how easy this is to do. So, okay, if something happens and the whole class has to go into quarantine, it doesn't have to go to just scanned worksheets. You can still allow all your students to do the group work, to work together just by understanding the importance of using technology. In the math classroom, again, we have the screen share in the breakout room, but then there's also these manipulatives. So you have the Math Learning Center, Matthews, and GeoGebra. These are all examples of ones that would be brought into the higher ed math classroom. So again, I'm going to just leave this up in case you have any questions about the master courses, what we've done in our literacy or our math classrooms to bring games in and embrace that technology component. We'd be really happy to hear from you. So we are so excited again to be part of this conference, but we're excited really to share, how we managed to continue to bring in games and to continue to utilize technology even though we were not in that face-to-face environment. So thanks for letting us be part of the present or conference and joining our presentation. Have a great day.